Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Meet Touchstone Essentials Live. I'm Craig Daly, Vice President of Global Sales with Touchstone Essentials, and excited to be here with you tonight. Of course, I'm here with Cindy Klement. Cindy is a renowned herbalist and nutritionist. She teaches the doctors nutrition. We're excited to have Cindy with us as always. And Cindy, you've got a different picture for us tonight.
I do, Craig. I had the opportunity to teach nutrition at my granddaughter's school. She's in second grade, and there are 4 second grades there. So over 100 children made and drank carrot juice for the first time, and it was really a huge success. I'm known as Grandma Cindy at the entire student body and staff, and even the little kids are now asking me, what are we going to taste next, Grandma? So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We have to teach them when they're young. We really do. Before they train those taste buds on junk food, we got to get that good stuff into them.
I love it. That's great. Yeah. Well, make sure everybody knows about Cindy's book, To Your Body's Environmental Chemical Burden, won all kinds of awards. So make sure that you know about that. Cindy, tonight we're going to talk about parabens, right?
Sure are. We are going to talk about those nasty chemicals and really how they affect our health. They're all over the place, Craig. They're in our food. They're in our surface waters. They're in soil. They're in our paper products, our packaging for our processed foods, cosmetics, detergents. They're everywhere.
Everywhere. And you hear about parabens a lot. That's a big, bad, ugly word, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
We hear about it. We're excited to learn.
All right. Let's go. All right, let's see, where am I? I think I advanced. There we go. Okay, so folks, hi, good evening. Parabens are actually an antimicrobial preservative. So they put them in food packaging so the packaging or the food itself doesn't spoil, but they also put it in a really wide range of personal care products and other consumer products. Now, if you look really closely at your labels, especially for your personal care products, so the lotions you put on your face, the soaps, your shampoos, your deodorant, there are many parabens, but the 5 most common ones that you will find are methylparaben. Another one is called propylparaben. Another one is butylparaben. And then we have ethylparaben. And then we have isobutylparaben. We're going to talk about predominantly the first 2, the methylparaben and the propylparaben, because they are the ones that are the most common. Now, globally, these parabens have been detected in our soil, sediment, wastewater, surface waters, and I'm talking Canada, India, Japan, China, Spain, South Korea, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, as well as, of course, in the United States. But the majority of these parabens are produced in China, and they have a reported production annually of each of those 5 parabens that I just mentioned at 20 million pounds per year each. So folks, that's 100 million pounds produced annually, and they're not good for us. So we are exposed dietarily by consuming contaminated fish that have been in these wastewaters and these surface waters and rivers and things, but again, also with those processed foods because of the food packaging. But it's in our personal care products, as I mentioned. Parabens have been detected in 44% of our cosmetic products and about 8% in the detergents that we use around the home. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the methylparaben and propylparaben are the ones that head the list. Now, some people are actually exposed by consuming prescription drugs where parabens are listed as an ingredient. And I'm not telling you not to take your medications, but what I'm trying to show you is that it's really all around us. Now, of course, occupational exposure occurs in anyone that works in manufacturing where parabens are used. So again, we go back to that personal care products industry or the paper and packaging industry. people who manufacture pet products or air fresheners, or again, even preservatives that they use in our foods. Now, parabens are considered an endocrine disrupting compound, and they have been repeatedly shown to stimulate the growth of breast cancer cells. They were first detected in 2004 in breast tumor tissues. But after all the studies continued on over the last almost 20 years, they later detected these parabens in seminal fluid, in blood, in breast milk, as well as placental tissue. And again, this is around the world, not just in the United States. Parabens have been, along with all of those other areas, they've also been detected in amniotic fluid in pregnant women, and they were found in 99% of the samples that they tested. Other studies have confirmed that parabens have been found in 100% of the urine samples tested from pregnant women. And again, of all the parabens that we listed, the methylparaben was the one that was detected at the highest levels in breast milk. Now, in 2012, researchers took 160 tissue samples from 4 different locations in the breast and armpit. They were studying deodorants. And they took them from women, from 40 breast cancer patients who were undergoing mastectomies. Now, one or more of these parabens was found in 99% of the samples, and 60% of the samples contained all 5 of the parabens that were measured. So it is getting into our bodies and bioaccumulating there. Now, what they know is that these paraben-containing personal care products that are left on our skin for continuous exposure and then repeated over time, it does result in that accumulation in the underlying tissues. And that dermal exposure or dermal skin, that dermal exposure, when we use it in this breast region, again, such as deodorant and the upper arm, so if we've got anything going on in here, it enters the human tissue intact, and then it binds to estrogen receptors. Now, in the United Kingdom, cancers located in this upper outer area of the breast now exceed 50% of the cases. So parabens can cause really significant estrogenic exposure to our tissue in even a single application of lotion to this breast area. And while the binding ability is considered weaker than the estrogen that is made in our body, which is called estradiol or E2, the increase in concentration of these parabens and these the estrogen receptor sites can have the same level of binding as our own hormonal levels of estradiol. So estradiol is just a hormone that's naturally made in the body by the ovaries, and it is the most potent and abundant estrogen during a woman's reproductive years. And normal levels for a girl that's in a pre-puberty state should be below 10 picograms per milliliter of blood. Now, ordinarily, think about this, estradiol occurs if you took 1 gram of breast tissue, our own body's estradiol would be about 1/1,000,000th of a gram. And yet, a study reported the paraben concentrations in breast tissue of these parabens measured 1/1,000,000th of a gram, and that is a 1,000,000-fold higher level than what our bodies are making. So it's just too much, and that's why it's an endocrine disrupting compound. Now, interestingly, limits have been set on the paraben content allowed in a personal care product. What consumers don't use just one single product daily. Well, maybe some do, but the majority of us don't. And so the limits to exposure are often exceeded by those limits that were set because we are using more than one personal care product on a daily basis. The studies that were done a long time ago in 2007 through 2008 showed that these parabens are detected in our bloodstream within 1 hour of application. So this is all pretty crazy stuff. Women show a 3 to 4 times greater level of parabens in their urine than do men because, again, women use more of these personal care products. And sadly, these adolescent girls between the ages of 12 and 16 can have even higher exposure than adult women because, again, this is the age where they're experimenting with these cosmetics and usually buying very inexpensive personal care products. So usually the ones that are manufactured inexpensively have more of these antimicrobial preservatives in them. So when it comes to the health effect of parabens, these research has found that they can contribute to ovarian aging or even a diminished ovarian function. And they found this in women who were seeking treatments for infertility. But parabens, as far as men go, has also been shown to have anti-androgenic properties, which means that it kind of squashes down the testosterone. It says, I'm anti-androgens. No, I want to be the one that's in the highest capacity here. So what happens then is it decreases that sperm function. It inhibits testosterone production, and it can even also affect insulin secretion. So there's just all kinds of problems that we have. In fact, there are other possible health concerns for parabens, including, as we mentioned, breast cancer, diabetes, or these insulin-related disorders, infertility, as well as the reproductive dysfunction in both men and women, lower testosterone in men, decreased sperm functioning, as well as premature menopause for women. So, this stuff is just not good for us. And the research actually suggests that the estrogen burden of these parabens may also exceed the action of estradiol in children. So, oh my goodness, this long-term exposure that begins so early in life can be priming them for later effects as they grow older. So in 2011, parabens were added to something called the Substitute It Now list. And this is when Denmark notified the European Union's Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety. Denmark notified them that they had banned these parabens in products for children under 3, and they did so citing reproductive toxicity and adverse effects on the male reproductive system. The World Health Organization has also excluded some of these parabens for use as a food additive because, again, the data suggests that it's bioaccumulating during our lifetime. Now, so we talk about Denmark, we talk about the WHO. Unfortunately, here in the United States, the Food and Drug Administration determined that parabens are safe for use in cosmetics following, and listen carefully, to an industry-led review in 2006. That's not fair. That's not good science to have the industry tell you whether or not they're safe. But as a result, parabens are not regulated in the United States. I don't think that's going to take very long for that to change. But as of right now, that's how it stands. So we have to wonder then, how do we avoid these parabens, and really, where do we start? I always say this, but we have to start with these young childbearing women. We've got to get this stuff out of their bodies as best we can, because it's going to be passed on to that next generation. So we want to teach these young women about, and men as well, because they're going to have reproductive problems and fertility problems. We need to teach them about paraben exposure and the dangers to their future offspring and really how to limit exposure as well as how to detox. And you guys are all really good at that by now, I'm sure. So one of the things that we need to do, and I kind of faded the picture to show you these websites. You really need to adhere to these fish advisories and limit your intake of fatty fish. The top link is from the national listing of fish advisories from the EPA website. It's a fabulous link. If you click, well, I don't think you can click on it through the slides, but if you take that link and kind of type it in, you can also just Google National Listing of Fish Advisory, EPA, and the same thing will come up. It's a fabulous website. You can do it where you live. You can find out all the rivers, all the lakes where you live, what you should be eating, how often you should be eating it, who should be eating it, and whether or not it's allowed for pregnant women and children under the age of 5. So it's a wonderful, wonderful website, and they keep updating it constantly. Now, the next one is checking for your household products for parabens. And so you can either Google Consumer Product Information Database, and really it's the link comes up what's in products, but it's the Consumers Product Information Database or CPID. And on that website, you can find out not just the parabens, but all of the chemicals in your arts and crafts supplies, in your automobile products, if you work on your own car, or maybe you work, in a garage or something like that. It has listings for all of the commercial products and institutional products, so people that they use to clean in those places. Your home office, so they'll talk about the printers and things like that. Your home maintenance, the products that you're using inside the home, outside the home, the landscaping, your yard, anything in that area, as well as your personal care, your pet care, and pesticides. So that too is a really good website to know about. And then you can always go to the EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group, go to their Skin Deep website. And what's wonderful about this website is it allows you to search for a specific personal care product out of their database, which now has over 85,000 specific products. And if you download their app, which is called Healthy Living, I'm glad I remembered that without having to look at my phone. It's called Healthy Living EWG, Environmental Working Group. And what's awesome about that is you just scan the product in the store and it will tell you whether it's safe or not. And they use kind of the green, yellow, red range. So you can kind of see, okay, green is go, yellow is caution, red, kind of stop using it. But it's a wonderful app. And it's really easy because every year I do the same thing when I try to find sunscreen. I don't want to be spraying parabens and other chemicals on our body. So I literally sit on the floor in the store and I scan every bottle until I find one that comes up green, and that's the one that I use. So that's a really good website and app to have. But there's also the Breast Cancer Action website, and they also provide a list of paraben-free cosmetic companies. So they tell you the company that is pledged to be paraben-free and really pretty much chemical-free and hormone-free. So all of those good resource tools can really help you to educate others and help them on their journey as well. So, as you are all aware, I know you are, the foods you eat can either contribute to a toxic body or they can assist the body in detoxification processes. So when you consume foods like broccoli and kale and turmeric and green tea on a daily basis, you are helping to support the organs of detoxification, cleansing those organs, as well as cleansing the blood, because you have to remember that your lymph is filtering, your kidneys are filtering, your liver is filtering, and you want to get the blood as clean as possible so you're not gumming up all of those areas of the body that are useful for detoxification. So those are really helpful. But also consuming the medicinal plants, I should say, that aids in detoxification, such as the dandelion, which is going to help improve your immune system, detoxify your liver and gallbladder, and aid in kidney function. So again, kidney, liver, cleansing the body. Milk thistle also is going to help protect you daily from toxicants, protect that liver on a daily basis, but it's also going to help the liver to repair itself by growing new cells. And did you know that milk thistle is actually recommended to patients that have chronic liver disease? So these are the foods that we need and more, of course, but you can get your broccoli in Super Greens Plus D, my little code there, essentials. You can also get it in Super Green Juice. You can get your kale in Super Green Juice. You get your turmeric in Super Green Juice, as well as Wellspring. You get green tea in Super Green Juice, Green Energy, Boost Focus Fuel, essentials, and then the dandelion and milk thistle in Super Green Juice, and insoluble fiber in the organic super fiber, which is, think about it, fiber is so imperative in both detoxification, in your cardiovascular health, in maintaining a healthy gut microbiome. It's just so important to include on a daily basis. Now, research suggests that there's really something unique about fulvic acid when you compare it to other organisms that are found in the soil. It's easily able to pass through the cellular membranes on the plant and in our cells. And when these minerals and trace elements from either the soil or the food that we eat come in contact with the fulvic acid, they're dissolved into a form that makes them more bioavailable and more active for both the plant and our bodies. Fulvic acid contains antioxidants that are going to help to counter the effects of the free radicals and also help detoxify the body of the chemicals that are used in agriculture, in radioactive waste, in heavy metals, just everything that we're exposed to. But don't ever forget how incredibly important Pure Body and Pure Body Extra are for that cellular and gut detoxification. I mean, I would even say that they're most important and imperative to use on a daily basis because, again, we are continuously exposed 24 hours a day. Well, maybe not when we're sleeping. I guess it could be. Depends on what you laundered your sheets in, I guess. So who do you know, folks, that's pregnant or nursing or is planning a pregnancy or is of childbearing age, both men and women? Who do you know that might be occupationally exposed? Or who do you know that uses cosmetics or personal care products or uses deodorant or consumes fish on a regular basis or eats processed foods? Folks, these are the people that you can help with the knowledge that you have, with the tools that you have, and with the products that you have. So that concludes our presentation for tonight. Craig and I hope that you will join us on November 30th. I think it's November 30th, Craig.
Yes.
Good. We're going to be talking about healthy vision. And I think this is a really important webinar. I think they're all important in their own way. But as we age, you can see I've got glasses on, Craig's got glasses on. I mean, we're going to find out what happens to our eyes and how we can keep them very, very healthy. And of course, the nutrients that are needed to support perfect vision. So there you go.
Awesome. Love it, Cindy. Looking forward to November 30th. It will be after Thanksgiving, so you'll be able to get through that holiday and then enjoy this webinar. Thank you so much for tonight. Can I ask you a quick question? Would you call parabens, would you call it a xenoestrogen?
Yes.
Okay. So It is a xenoestrogen. Is that kind of the main issue with parabens?
Yes. Is there estrogenic properties? Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I want. That's what I kind of gathered from what you're saying, but I wanted to make sure that I was understanding that.
Yeah, it's an endocrine disruptor, both male and female, both young and old. It just messes everything up. I wish they would outlaw them, but probably won't happen.
Me too. Boy, I wish they'd outlaw them all.
I know.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Just a second. Can you imagine going back to like the 40s before all these chemicals were in our world, Craig?
I know.
Think about everybody was this big around because so many of these chemicals are obesogenic. They actually make our bodies fat. And if you look at all those old films, everybody's tiny. Everybody's tiny. It's the craziest stuff, isn't it?
It is great.
Detox.
Thank you so much, Cindy. We appreciate you. Folks, we'll see you on November 30th. Thanks again for being with us tonight. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day, everybody.
Bye.